Here's the thing. Birds are real, and it's mean to say that they're not. We're back.
We are back and better than ever.
Better than you might notice something different, but let's start with the introductions. My name is Sam.
My name's Keshav. I go by Kish.
This is a birding podcast. Welcome. If this is
Season
your first
three of
time
our.
listening, season three, season three. If this is your first time listening, here's a fun fact for you. If a rooster crowed in your ear, the sound would be as loud as if you were standing 200 feet from a jet engine, which it sounds pretty far, but it's a jet engine. Like that's pretty loud.
Hmm. I wonder how they tested. You think they got the same guy that was 200 feet from a jet engine and also had a crow caw into his ear?
A
And he was
rooster
just like, yeah,
crow.
a rooster, sorry. And you
Yeah,
think he was just like, yeah, that's the same.
it's about the same. Yeah, he was probably standing like 190 feet away, and he was like, "That's a little louder," and then took 10 steps back.
Very scientific, very scientific.
Yeah,
But yeah, if you're new to the podcast, welcome. We have 24 amazing episodes for you to listen to already recorded, but
yeah.
stay on this one. Don't X out yet. This one's going to be a good one.
This one's a banger. Let me tell you what. We're birders, the birding podcast. We talk about birds. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, really. There's not much more to us, if we're
Yeah.
being honest.
If you're a returning listener slash viewer, if you're on YouTube, you obviously have probably noticed something is different, and that's that we're on camera now. It's the way of the world. People want to see their podcasters on video, so we have obliged. Sink it in.
Yeah, this has been a recurring request since season one. People really wanted to see our faces, so here you
Yeah,
go. Um, hope you enjoy.
yeah.
If you
We're
if you don't
also,
like what you see, let us know. But
yeah, yeah. Let us
um,
know. We can do a lot of things to change that. So,
yeah,
um, we're
uh,
also, you may have noticed if you're a returning listener, we're in different places. Uh, we used to be in the same place, recording right across from each other, but that's not the case right now. Can you tell us why?
yeah. So like Sam said, we were both for the first two seasons, we were both in Philly, and now I am in Virginia Beach. I'll be here for a little over a year, so I'll get to experience all the seasons, all the different spring migration, fall migration, the wintering birds here in Virginia Beach, closer to the coast than Philly is. So haven't done too much birding yet, but from the little I've done, I'm really excited to see everything else that's out there.
Yeah, that's
Um,
been very
yeah.
exciting. I'm very sad that you're gone, but happy for you still. I can be selfless sometimes, so I do. I'm still happy for you. I'm still in Philly, um, and still going out birding. John Hines, the normal place. There's been some trouble at John Hines, but doing the best we can. Happy to get into it. Excited to get into it. How do we
Ye-
normally start this?
So we normally start our episodes with some field notes where Sam and I will talk about our birding adventures that we've been on during the week, and then we'll report back to you guys. So typically, Sam and I typically went birding together while we were in Philadelphia, um, which was, very nice. Yeah, but we had similar field notes because, we were seeing the same stuff. So I
Yeah.
think this episode and moving on, I think it will be interesting to compare and contrast our field notes because obviously we're in different places.
Yeah. On that note, I did go birding today. My plan was to go to John Hines, shout out John Hines National Wildlife Refuge, wearing their shirt. You can actually see it because we're on video now. They're a national wildlife refuge. The government is shut down. No one is working there. And you can still go, actually. It's fine. That the gate is open. But one big thing that they do at John Hines is they pump water in from the creek into like the reservoir, sort of
The impoundment.
the
Yeah.
impoundment there. Thanks. But they stopped doing that for a time, for like stopped doing as much. So there's a lot less water because they wanted to. I don't know. It kind of unclear to me why they did this, but I think it's because they wanted to build up vegetation to help against potential flooding. And the plan was, I think, right around now to start filling it with water again because we're getting to that time of year where ducks are going to start coming in, and we there has to be water for that. But the government has shut down. The pump is no longer running. It's just bone dry at John Hines, and it's a little depressing, honestly.
Yeah, John Hines, honestly, the impoundment being full of water and all the ducks being there is kind of like a highlight of John Hines. So it's sad to see that, maybe that's not the case right now, but hopefully they get they get back to it.
Yeah,
Speaking of national wildlife refuges, I went to Back Bay National Wildlife Refuge here in Virginia Beach, um, also during the government shutdown, but it was open. Just, like you said, no employees working. And it was very cool. The habitat's a lot different to John Hines. This is a coastal environment, a lot of protected dune areas, and but I'll do a whole Virginia birding episode in the future, so I
yeah,
won't give up too many secrets yet.
yeah. Next episode, Keish can dive deep into Virginia birding. I'm very excited for it. Um, yeah, and so I was going to go to John Hines today, but they actually shut it down. They do this every once in a while for a deer hunt. And I didn't think they were going to have that with the government shutdown, but they actually still had it today, where they go and hunt deer with a bow and arrow. It's like an archery deer hunt deal. They do it once a month, once every couple months. I don't know. So instead, I was like, where can I go? I haven't seen shorebirds in so long because John Hines is normally where I'd go, but there's no shore there anymore. So there's not a lot of shorebirds going on. So I was like looking around on eBird thinking, I don't want to go all the way to Forsyth, which is on the coast of New Jersey. And then I couldn't find anywhere. So I went to Forsyth on the coast of New Jersey. And I saw some pretty cool stuff. I was glad that I went. Biggest highlight was a clapper rail. Saw a clapper rail.
Last time it was I forget if it was Forsyth or if it was or if it was Bombay Hook or something. But when we went, we were hearing the clapper rail a
Hmm.
lot, but we just couldn't see it.
No, it was
Um,
very interesting. So I got to see its behavior a little bit, and it was kind of funny stuff. So it was in water that was probably up to like its chin. So I couldn't tell if it was stepping or if it was swimming. It kind of looked like it
mm,
was doing a mix of both, where it was like bobbing its head forward. It was very funny. But as soon as it saw me, it turned around and like sprinted back into the reeds. There's like
mm.
taller grass. It sprinted in there. I couldn't see it. And how it works at Forsyth is you drive your car around this 8 mile loop and you can stop it at any time, get out and like take pictures, look at the birds. So we just drove the car a little bit further down the road, stopped, and then I could see in the mirror that the rail came back out. So I got out of the car again, started taking pictures, and I was really far away at this point, but it saw me again and just sprinted back into the grass again. So very shy bird, that rail. I felt really lucky to see it.
Yeah, I saw signs at Back Bay National Wildlife Refuge that there are clapper rails there. And yeah, like you said, they're very shy birds, so I'm hoping to see one at some point. But
Yeah.
yeah, clapper rail, very cool.
Yeah. I was happy about that one.
Nice, nice.
And yeah, looking forward, I do hope that they put some more water back into John Hines because it's just such a reliable place to go.
I think they have to for the ducks. Like they
Yeah.
just yeah. And you said like no shorebirds at John Hines. Like I can't imagine going to John Hines and not seeing a great blue heron or an egret
Yeah.
or something.
No great blue herons, like not even the wading
Yeah,
birds. That was it was that did it to me. That was tough for me. But
yeah.
we did some birding. I saw a lot of lifers in the past couple months since we've been off the air. Some very exciting ones that I'm going to get into later in the episode, but I don't want to spoil that all now.
Nice, nice. I think we can mention that we were both selected for the exhibit
Yeah,
for
speaking of
John
John
Hines
Hines.
National Wildlife, what's it called? The Nature in Focus photography competition.
Hmm. Yeah, we both got
Um,
pictures in. It was very cool. They were printed out. They were hung up. Keish didn't see any of it.
Yeah, Sam very nicely printed out my Barnes Hollow photo that was selected, but I had to ship out to Virginia Beach, so I wasn't able to attend the exhibit. We didn't win any special awards or anything, but we were selected for the exhibit, which is very
We
cool.
were. Yeah, didn't expect to win any awards. It was very interesting. They gave out a lot of different awards this year. This happened last year too. But this year they were like after we submitted all our photos, of course, while we were at the event, they said, "Oh, we decided not to give as many awards to birds this year because we want people to take pictures of stuff that's not birds." So like none of the bird pictures got awards. So we never stood a
Which I
chance.
which I get because like last year it was very bird heavy. Um, but I mean we're bird photographers, so so
Yeah.
like that's what we do. Um, yeah, I wish I could have attended, but
It'll be
alas.
good. We'll get our pictures back from the exhibit and then we'll get to keep them, which is exciting. I'll send you yours or I'll like hold on to it until you come visit. But
Yep, sounds
we can't
good.
get them yet because the government shutdown. Can't get into the visitor center.
Yeah, so I feel like I don't know, we have a little bit of street cred now. Like we can talk about photography, we can talk about birds. Like
Yeah,
we've been acknowledged
we
as human
have been.
beings.
Yep.
Yeah, very cool. Um,
So as
you
for the
mentioned you
rest of the
got
structure of the episode, do we want to get into that?
yeah, sure. Just really quickly, did you mention you got married? Did we do that?
Oh yeah, I got married to producer Rochelle. It
Nice,
was
nice.
exciting. It was nice. It was supposed to be outside with the birds. It ended up raining. We moved it inside. What are you gonna do? It was still real nice.
Birds were heavily themed. Are the different wedding tables were different birds?
Hmm. Yep. So
I was at the Ruddy Turnstone table.
yeah, I didn't want people to feel bad about being at table like nine versus table one. I don't think we had nine tables, maybe table eight. Um, so I just named all the tables after birds.
I appreciated that. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So let's get into the structure of things a little bit. So, given that we are recording our faces now, we can't make as many cuts and still make everything look good.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
in the past, we would, prep our whoever was leading the episode would do most of the prepping. We would prep our episodes, and we would inevitably mess up, and then we just cut it and we just redo it. Sam is our editing maestro over here, so you probably didn't even notice that that was happening. Um,
That's the goal is hopefully you didn't notice.
yeah.
Seamless cuts together. But you can probably tell
So
already that it's a little more conversational now. There's going to be a little more dead space. We're going to be talking over each other every once in a while. That's just going to happen. That's the nature of showbiz, baby. So just bear with us. I think it's going to be a new, exciting format. It'll hopefully feel like you, the listener, are more part of like just a conversation.
yeah, yeah, it's gonna be maybe a little more free form. I mean, we're still gonna have our structure like field notes, hoot topics, main topic, etc. But hopefully the flow is a little more casual, and
Mhm.
hopefully you guys enjoy that.
Yeah. Let us know how you feel about it in the comments. We can always do some stuff, but this is also going to make it way easier to edit and get episodes out on time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So on that note, should we get into the Hoot topic?
Yeah, let's get into the hoot topics. To our new listeners, or for our new listeners, Hoot topics are questions or topics that listeners like yourself will send in to Sam and I, and we will answer them on the podcast if it's interesting enough, or if we don't have any others to answer. You can send us Hoot topics on to our Instagram at Birds Are Real Pod, or to our email birdsarereal.pod@gmail.com.
Yeah, you can actually email us directly. I know a lot of people go through like a media manager or something like that. Not us. We connect with our fans.
Hmm. All right. So we sent out a plea, or plea sounds too desperate. We sent out a request for
Yep,
for some hoot topics on Instagram, and we got a couple of good ones. Um, should I
we
start?
do. Yeah, I think you should.
All right. So, longtime listener, longtime fan, longtime Hoot topic sender, Nick sends us, what kind of bird is Big Bird? And does his personality match with what we know about that species?
Yeah. So for those who don't know, Big Bird, we're talking Sesame Street here. RIP, they did you dirty, but Big Bird, iconic, giant bird, what, 8 feet tall, something like that, bright yellow. I always thought Big Bird was like an ostrich or maybe a chicken. So I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah, so I looked into it a little bit. You were pretty spot on with your 8 foot guess there. He's 8 foot and 2 inches.
Nice.
Yeah, I just given his shape and his raw size, I also thought he was like a chicken or an ostrich or something. Turns out he's based off of a canary,
Ah, like Tweety Bird.
like Tweety Bird.
Okay.
Canaries typically are 10 centimeters long and or grow up to 10 centimeters, and Big Bird's 8 foot two, so
Okay.
slight discrepancy there.
A little bit of a difference.
A little bit of a difference.
Interesting.
Canaries, native to the Canary Islands, if you could believe it.
Ah, that makes sense. That does make sense.
Yeah,
Where are
it's
the
not
Canary
a.
Islands? I have no idea.
I think they're technically a part of Spain, but they're closer to like Northwest Africa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which way is west?
Um,
That way is west. Okay, yeah, I got it.
yeah. So I mean, Spain is closest right there, right?
Right.
So yeah, Canaries. I mean, if we're comparing the personality of Big Bird to a canary, I think in some ways they align and in some ways they don't. Um, they're both yellow.
They are both yellow. That's a good personality trait.
Yeah. Um, Canaries in the wild, from what I read, tend to be in pairs or at least like can be seen in flocks. Um,
It's tough for
Canaries have
Big
been
Bird. Poor guy.
tough for Big Bird. Canaries have been domesticated throughout the years, and domestic canaries, from what I understand, tend to like to be a little solitary.
Mm,
Which, Big Bird's in New York, I'm assuming. That's where Sesame Street is, New York.
I think so.
Yeah, so it makes sense that he's a domesticated solitary canary there.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes you
Um,
got to be solitary if you're on the Sesame Street, you know.
yeah. Um, it seems like he's a
So
genetic anomaly though. He's huge.
he is huge. I feel like a lot of people don't feel like, I don't know, there's a sense of awe, but also terror. I was terrified of mascots when I was a child, so like Big Bird freaked me out. But there's like an awe and terror. I don't think you get that sense of awe and terror if you see a canary.
No, no, definitely not. Definitely not. I think as a kid I was fine with Big Bird until I went to Chuck E. Cheese and I saw like the animatronic guys. Honestly, I
Ooh,
was fine with the animatronic guys. And then, I don't know, someone told me that they were scared of them. And then I was like, yo, those actually are kind of scary. And then
yeah.
I think I got scared of them too. And then as a result, Big Bird. But what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? But yeah, I'd say
Um,
Big Bird is definitely he's an exceptional canary, and that's why they cast him on Sesame Street, right? They weren't just gonna have any old canary off the street. They got the big one, a very large bird.
they got the big one, and I think he did his job. He lived up to his potential. I mean, they call him Big Bird for a reason, right?
That's
So,
true. Yeah,
yeah.
that's why they call me
Good.
average-sized human.
Yeah, thanks for the hoot topic as usual, Nick. Keep sending those in. You have some good questions.
Yeah, definitely. We do have a second hoot topic today from another longtime listener and another longtime hoot topic sender and enjoyer, Jax. Thank you, Jax, for sending in another question. This one is very serious. I know we had a lot of fun with this last one. This one is like deadly serious, right? So here's the question. Do birds ever purposely target something to poop on? Parentheses, asking for a friend. More parentheses, my car. So I think Jax is feeling like their car is getting a little unfairly targeted.
Classic situation, unfortunately, has happened to me plenty of times. Season 2, episode 3. We talk about bird digestion. Pretty
Yeah.
cool episode, if I do say so myself.
It is.
Yeah.
And you can learn all about like what goes on. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, great name for that episode. But it can give you a more in-depth analysis of like what's happening in terms of if a bird is deciding where to go. I don't know. I choose to think that birds are not that petty, although we know that some are.
I was gonna say we know that some are. I think we may have talked about this in previous episodes, but crows can like hold grudges. They can remember your face and they can communicate that to other crows and have them harass you as well. So
Yeah,
I don't know if that translates to them pooping on your car per se, but they're keeping track of you. They're keeping
they
track of
are.
you.
Actually, on that note, I have a coworker. I did not get permission to share this story, so I'm not going to use a name. It'll be anonymous. We don't dox on this podcast, but I have a coworker who has actually befriended the crows outside their apartment uh, in like a very nice way, and has actually trained them to hate their neighbor, who they also hate. So anytime their neighbor goes out, the crows like dive bomb them. It's great.
I'm gonna need more context because I also want a crow army. I have a ton of fish crows outside of my apartment, like an absolute ton.
Let's give them presents. They love it if you give them presents.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, I'll try that and report back next time.
Yeah. I'll ask for more details.
Um, something else that I found was that birds like instinctually t want to poop around bodies of water. So, and like the shine from like the sunlight off the surface of the water can sometimes mimic or be mimicked by the shine off of your car's roof.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So you want to
I
like
don't know if
get like a matte coat on your car.
I don't know if it actually makes a difference because, you could just park your car under a power line and then it is what it is.
Yeah.
But that's just something that I saw.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if birds like intentionally poop on things, but you can see it actually in some interesting ways. It can be used to mark territory. I don't know if it's intentional or not, but if you're looking for owls specifically, and I'm sure this is the case with other birds, but I know it to be true with owls. If you're looking like in a forest, what you want to look for is a tree with a hole in it, and below the hole you want to see like white streaking, because then you know like an owl family is living there. And I think it lets the other birds, owls, squirrels, things like that might be interested in that nest know that there are things living there, and they'll probably leave it alone.
Interesting. I'll definitely be on the lookout for white streaks on trees when I'm doing some bird photography to see
Yeah.
some owls though. Cool.
Yeah.
Do you think like animals think like poop is like inherently negative like we do? You know what I'm saying?
I
Like do
think
you think a bird would think like, "Oh, I'm targeting this human and I will poop on their car?"
I think they do know that like poop is not something that they necessarily want to be interacting with a lot, at least their own, right? Like you'll see a lot of animals
Yeah.
like sniff other animal poop, right? But I think they know that like theirs, I assume it's like inherently known that theirs has like bacteria, whatever, stuff that they don't want to kind of interact with. And I don't know a lot about other animals, but I'm pretty sure like there are cases of like if an animal pack is like in a habitat, they will normally like choose a specific place like to poop and it's far away from where they eat. I don't know.
Hmm. No, good to know. Interesting.
But I might have just made that up. So who could say?
Who can say, "Hey, if you know, just send us an email or send us a message on Instagram."
Yeah, we
Once
will
again,
we'll let you
once
know.
again,
Or
yeah, do you wanna say the Instagram and the email?
oh yeah, at birds are real pod and birdsarereal.pod@gmail.com. If you type our name into the little bar, it should come up and say Birdie Birdston is the name of the person you're emailing. So hopefully that
Nice,
happens. I don't
nice.
know.
And to get us on YouTube, um, try to type our name with no spaces. Birds are real pod, and I
Yeah,
think that'll come up. Yeah.
birds are real potted. So yeah, same as the Instagram one, just without the at.
All
Cool. Well,
right.
thanks for those good
So yeah,
topics. Like we said, please send more in. We love to get them. we don't have too many of them. We're starting a new season, it's understandable.
Yeah, especially if you're a new listener and you have some new questions for us, we'll prioritize those. And if you're a former listener, huge fan of the podcast, have never sent a hoot topic in, please do so. We
Yeah.
definitely want to hear from all our lovely fans.
Yeah, we actually do. I know people say this all the time. They say, "We want to hear from you." And then you're like, "Oh, they don't really want to hear from me, do they?" We do. We want to hear from you.
Leave comments on our YouTube videos as well if you're watching on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Sam will interact with you there.
I will. I love to interact on YouTube. All right, so avid listeners of the pod may recall that the last few episodes of season two, I was really talking about my goal. My goal was to hit 200 lifers by the end of the year. If you don't know, a lifer is just what you call a bird that you've seen in your life. So I have a life list. It lists every bird that I've seen at least once.
Every like
At least
distinct species.
distinct species, yeah. So I don't go out and see, a song sparrow and say, oh, song sparrow and add it. And then the next day see a song sparrow and go, ooh, song sparrow and add it again. I don't do that. Some people do. That's what an eBird checklist is. But I don't do that. I just have one running life list. And my goal was to get to 200 total species by the end of this year. And I did that. It's been a while since we had an episode. I've blown past it. I'm at 205 now, actually. I've gotten a lot of birds. But it was very exciting for me, and it gave me a chance to kind of reflect on lifers past. And there's a lot of nice stories associated with these lifers. I've shared some, we've shared a bunch on the pod before. I'd like to share some more, but as you can maybe tell, I sometimes just talk and talk about things that no one finds interesting. So I'm going to need your help, Keish, and we're going to play
All
a little
right.
game. You know how we like to play our games here?
For sure, for sure. And you're gonna see some more games as well
Yep.
at the end of the episode.
So in this game, I'm going to tell you about a time when I saw a lifer. I'm going to give you the story, and you're going to rate how interesting that story was to you, how cool you think that lifer experience was on a special scale that we're going to call the duck scale. And the duck scale starts on one end with an American coot, which is not a duck, and it goes to the other end with a mute swan, which is also not a duck. But if you kind of think about it, if you put them all on a gradient, an American coot will eventually become a mallard, which will eventually become a Canada goose, which will eventually become a mute swan. I'm talking just size in this point. So if you think something is interesting, it's going to be on the smaller end of the scale towards the American coot. And if it's not interesting, larger like the mute swan.
Yeah, yeah, we're talking. That sounds like we're talking strictly size because this is not evolutionarily accurate at all.
No,
But
just
all
like
right,
vibes, size vibes.
Amer American coot to mute swan. Gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah, cool. So let's just start out with something that's actually going to be on the duck scale, a duck. And I'm going to talk about the bufflehead, which is a, a favorite duck of all of ours, right? We all love the bufflehead. I've actually seen online a lot of people think buffleheads are kind of annoying. I don't get it. I love a bufflehead.
Bobblehead's great.
Yeah. But so I first saw the bufflehead when I was out searching for the mandarin duck in Central Park. I've talked a lot about the mandarin duck. I'll give some honorable mentions at the end here of just lifers that were important to see, but that I've talked about on the pod or just don't have a nice story. But so I'm in Central Park looking for the mandarin duck, right? And I see a bufflehead. This is not a bird was familiar with before. This is early on in my birding journey. It was before I knew about Merlin, or maybe before Merlin existed. I'm not sure. So I just Googled duck with a white spot on its head and saw like a picture of a bufflehead. So I was like, oh, cool, that's a bufflehead. And then I started seeing it everywhere, like the first time you see a bird, it's like, whoa, I've never seen this before. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, everywhere I go, I'm seeing a bufflehead now. So I'd be with people and I'd be like, hey, guess what? That's a bufflehead. I bet you didn't know that. And they were like, oh, I didn't know that. Turns out, uh, a couple months go by. I'm calling everything a bufflehead. And I consulted a book. I was calling hooded mergansers buffleheads. I was seeing hooded mergansers the whole time. And I called them all buffleheads, no matter what.
Hmm.
I did see a bufflehead shortly after that, so it's still on the life list, but Yeah, I was calling them hooded. I was calling hooded mergansers bobbleheads the whole time.
That's I'm trying not to judge you hard right now. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, it's
That's
understandable.
yeah, yeah. No, that's a that's a fun story though. The white spot is, I understand the white spot, but other than that, they look nothing alike.
No, not at all. Yeah, the hooded
Not at all.
merganser has a giant hood. It's very apparent.
Yes.
But from far away, I'll say this: I did not have like a super long lens camera. I didn't have binoculars. I was just like, ooh, a duck with some white on it. That's a bufflehead.
Okay, that's fair. I wasn't taking into account the distance that was maybe at play there. All right, all
I
right.
mean,
You're getting some.
I'm just kind of hedging right now. I was just misidentifying birds.
Okay. So, hmm. So now you want me to rate it from American Coot to Mute Swan?
Yeah,
All right. So, I mean, do you want the breakdown? Do you want the breakdown of my thought process
I
here?
would love the breakdown.
All right. So, you may know that I'm quite particular about things at times, right?
Sure.
So, this is initially I'm like, this is a grave mistake that you've made. A hooded merganser for a bufflehead. Like, what are we doing here? Um, this is a beginner friendly podcast, by the way. Very clearly. No, no, no. If you're not a birder yet, if you're an early birder, welcome.
Yeah, no, it's
But
like
so
perfectly
so
fine.
so that knocked you down, closer to the mute swan end.
Hmm.
But but then I thought about it, there's something beautiful about making mistakes and learning from them. So it moved you back tr towards the coot side.
Nice.
So let me think here. I think this is a good starting point. This is the only story you've told me so far. I'm just gonna give this a solid mallard.
Mallard,
Mallard
great.
duck.
In my mind, mallard is like the midpoint.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Great. Well, let's
How do you
move
feel
on
about that?
then. I feel good about that. I appreciate
Okay,
that.
cool, 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 cool.
I was worried that I was going to get like a trumpeter swan on that first one, so feeling good,
No,
feeling
no,
great.
no. Nice,
Um,
nice.
and well, let's stick in the duck category then. We've been talking about the mandarin duck, and we've talked about the mandarin duck a lot. It's a bird that is not supposed to be here. And we've actually seen another one that's very similar that I think we didn't really talk about very much after we saw it, but it was another duck, foreign duck that is not endemic to North America that we saw in North America, and it was the Eurasian widgeon. Remember seeing the Eurasian widgeon?
Yes, yes. Did we see that at Cape May?
It was at Cape May.
It
Yeah.
was at Cape May. Yeah, yeah.
So
I think
here's
it just
why.
got just
Oh,
really
go
quick. I
ahead.
think it's just the Eurasian widgeon, right?
Hmm.
I think we saw so many lifers that day, especially for me.
Yep.
I was a very fledgling birder pun
Uh-huh.
um back then. So I think I probably got like 15 lifers that day and it just kind of all melted together for me.
Yeah, we got
But
so
it was
many
very
lifers.
very cool bird. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the reason I think this one is special, we saw it together. That's very special. But
Hmm.
we also tried to idea using Merlin like picture. And I don't know if you remember, every time we did it, it would say it's a gadwall. And it
Yeah.
looks nothing like a gadwall. And we couldn't figure out, and like someone around was saying, like, oh, pretty sure that's a Eurasian widgeon. But we could not get Merlin to call it a Eurasian widgeon no matter what we did. We even took a picture from the internet of a Eurasian widgeon from like Wikipedia and put it through Merlin, and it still said it was a gadwall. So
Yeah.
it's
Merlin
because
is
we didn't,
not
yeah,
infallible. Like Merlin can make mistakes for
yeah,
sure.
and we didn't have the right packs downloaded, so we didn't have
Mhm.
like, any Europe or Asia packs downloaded, so it just wasn't gonna ever look in its database and say that.
Hmm.
So I was pretty proud that we were able to figure it out. And it finally helped me figure out how to add birds to Merlin without providing a picture. There's a way where you can just add a bird to your life list. And I was happy to find that function.
Hmm. Just wanna I have my handy field guide here since we're taking advantage of video. A Eurasian
Nice.
widgeon, if you want to take a look at that. Yeah, we saw this red color, which is really nice
We did.
on the head.
I'm going to put like a badly drawn bird for each of these that I talk about, just so everyone has
Oh,
a photorealistic reference.
amazing, amazing. All
Yeah.
right.
So what do you think about that?
I mean, selfishly, I was there, right? So it's gonna be a little nicer for me. Um, no, that was a cool one, and like you said, it's not as like flashy as the Mandarin duck, but it's a bird that's like not supposed to be here, and like we didn't really expect to see that day, so that was really cool. Hmm. So I think okay, I think it's definitely better than a mallard. Mallards are kind of big, actually.
Yeah.
Is it? Hmm. Is it wild of me to give the Eurasian widgeon or Eurasian widgeon?
I think that's pretty appropriate.
I think it makes sense.
Yeah, I like it. I was hoping you'd do that with the bufflehead, but that's way too generous of a score to give the bufflehead. So
Buffleheads are quite small. They're
they're
like really,
tiny.
really small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I will take that Eurasian widgeon. That's nice. It's a better than average in my opinion.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Definitely better than a mallard on that scale.
Yeah. Great. All right. Let's just move along, huh? This time I'm
Hmm.
going to talk about a bird that is actually one of our failed IDs, the blue-winged warbler. We might have talked about this on the pod before, I can't remember. But one of the cardinal sins of birding, get it? Cardinal sins. And by the way, to anyone listening, this is not actually a sin. There are no birding sins like this. I'm just saying this to be dramatic. But one of the cardinal sins of birding is putting a bird in your life list without IDing it properly first. And we've done this before, or more specifically, I've done this before.
That's
Famously
how we
with the
that's how
cackling
we actually
goose.
got to that's actually how we got to 200 lifers, if you wanted to know. He just added a bunch of birds
Just
he
added
never
a
really
bunch of
saw.
random ones. Well, no. So
Yeah.
this is why this story is important to me. So obviously we did this with the cackling goose, but we were at Heinz. We saw this bird. There were a lot of yellow warblers all around that day. And we saw this bird that looked like it had like a darker wing than a yellow warbler. We actually fed it through Merlin and it said it could be a blue-winged warbler. I was so excited. I was like, that's definitely a blue-winged warbler. I put it into my life list. Like 5 seconds after that, a very experienced Philly birder came up to us and we're like, hey, look, we saw this blue-winged warbler. And they were like, well, I mean, what do you look for when you're looking for a blue-winged warbler? And we were like, uh, blue wings? I don't know. And they were like, no, the arm bar, or I keep saying arm bar, the wing
Wing
bar.
bar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like a bar of white on the wing. Didn't have any idea. We looked at the picture again, no white on that wing. It was just a yellow warbler. But he was very kind about it, this Philly birder, and that was very, very nice. The real story, though, is this. I did not know until recently how to remove a bird from the life list. And, I'm in the middle of this goal to get to 200. I didn't want to get to 200 while having false IDs on my list, right? And my life list, by the way, is on the app Merlin. I don't know if I mentioned that, but it's all on the app Merlin. It's kind of not super user friendly in some cases. It's really hard to figure out how to remove a bird. I didn't think it was possible. But while I was still thinking it's impossible, I have since found out how to remove it. I removed the cackling goose. But I was in Connecticut with my parents. We got up real early one morning to go birding, and they saw a blue-winged warbler, pointed it out to me, and so I saw a blue-winged warbler. I didn't have to remove it from my list, so it's all legit still.
Nice. Cool, cool. Um, I will say, I I haven't really needed to learn how to remove birds from my life list because I practice restraint and I don't you know, put a bird into my life list until I'm sure I got the ID right. So, there's that.
Yeah, yeah,
No, no, that interaction with we won't say his name just because
yeah,
yeah, because he hasn't told us we could. But he was very knowledgeable, very educational. He went right into education mode. He was like, "Well, what do you guys think? Does that
yeah,
look
yeah.
like a blue-winged warbler?
I
What
know.
are the distinct markings of a blue-winged warbler?" No, he was really cool.
It was really cool.
Um, yeah, he was the one who told us about Morris Park, which we went to,
Hmm.
which was also really cool.
Yeah.
Um, no, I remember that interaction. I'm like, yeah, I still haven't seen a blue-winged warbler. And our blue-winged warblers are the ones that can like hybridize really readily with like other warblers, right?
I think so. Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
right.
Um, So yeah, I'm happy you saw your blue-winged warbler. Shout out to Midge and Andy. I don't know if I can say their names or not.
Yeah, you
Whatever.
can say their names.
Cool. Yeah. All right. So now you want me to rate it.
Yeah,
I, I I'm gonna punish you a little bit on this one
I figured.
because because I was like, Sam, I don't think that's a blue-winged warbler, and you're like, nah, I'm gonna add it to my life list, and I was like, okay, if you must, and then it turned out not to be a blue-winged warbler. So I'm gonna hit you a little hard on this one.
Okay.
Canada goose.
Canada Goose. Okay. I was hoping maybe you'd go a little easier and give me a Brant or something, but I accept it. I accept the Canada
You
Goose.
know.
That was not one of my prouder moments, but one of my luckier moments overall, because I did end up
Uh,
seeing it.
j just for our listeners though, who may be as impatient as you are, do you want to explain how to remove a bird from your life list?
No, I forgot. I don't know how to do
All
it. It was a
right,
process. I had to like go
never mind then.
into I think I had to go into my eBird account and remove it from there. I don't think I could remove it from the Merlin app because they're kind of connected. It was very complicated.
Yeah, that actually sounds about right. You probably would need to go into eBird.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you could figure that one out.
Yeah. Me too. While we're on the subject of warblers, I have another warbler. The next one is actually a unique ID because I wasn't the one who made it. My good friend and friend of the pod, very frequent Hoot Topic supplier, Dan, was actually the one who made the ID. We were up in
Wow.
Maine the summer in between season two and season three. And a bunch of my other friends were also there, but I forgot to ask any of them if I could use their names before this episode, so I'm just not going to say any of their names. Sorry if you're listening and you want me to say your name. I'm not going to do it. But we were up in Acadia doing a hike. It was either like Jordan Pond or Logan Pond. I can never remember the name of it. But there's no service up there, right? And normally what I'll do is I'll have Merlin running to like listen to calls. I have my camera with me. If I get a picture, I can like take a picture on my phone with Merlin and at least give me an idea of what it might be. And I've at this point become so camera pilled when it comes to IDing birds that if I don't get a picture of it, I like don't remember what I saw. So we did see this bird. It was pretty quiet overall, not too many birds. There were a bunch of loons, which was nice, but not a whole lot of songbirds going around. But there was this one that was fluttering in front of us, and I kept trying to get a picture, but it was going too fast. I didn't get the picture. It was making a call. I heard the call, but obviously couldn't record it. Didn't get a picture, and I was like, darn, I'll never know what that was. But Dan, he saw this bird too, and he described it like flawlessly. Every like marking where it started, where it stopped, the markings on the wings, all of that. So when we got to a place with service, I was able to put that into Merlin and it matched exactly with a black-throated green warbler, which was very cool. We then
Awesome.
listened to the call. The call matched what we heard in the field, so was able to add that. So thank you, Dan. Really made me remember how birding is supposed to be. I should actually look with my eyes. He reminded me that looking with your eyes is important.
Yeah, shout out Dan. That's awesome. I totally resonate with that story because I mean I have a pair of binoculars, but Sam and I have like these huge lenses now where we can see very far with those lenses. So like in terms of just seeing a faraway bird, honestly looking into the cameras is going to give us a better view than the power binocular we have. Um, but since we are bird photographers, we're looking at so many other things like lighting, background, blur, the lighting, foreground lighting, background lighting, whatever what the bird's doing, that kind of thing. And we do miss out on, or at least I do, I should speak for myself,
No,
like
I do too.
at least like observing the bird's behavior, stuff like that, which I remember distinctly doing in the beginning when maybe when I was using my binoculars more because my camera didn't have enough reach or before I even had a camera and I was just using the binoculars. Um, yeah, and like I've even thought that maybe I should just go out without my camera and just with my binoculars and be a little more immersed in that part of birding than taking the photos. But then if I see something really cool, I'm gonna be like, Dang,
I
I should
know.
have brought my camera.
I feel the same way. Yeah, I always
Yeah,
think like I should just go and enjoy. But then I think, but what if, what if I see this amazing thing and it's posing for me? But I do think
yeah,
that warblers and shorebirds are really good birds to practice like actually in the field observing because they are so similar. There's a lot of them that are very similar to each other. So even if you can't ID it in the field, if you can look and say like, okay, the beak is like this shape and this length, I see that this coloring starts right at the neck, or like there's a stripe down the wing, or like their tail does this when they've landed. Like that's really helpful to go back and then even if you don't have a picture, if you can say to yourself while you're looking at the bird, like these are all of the things that I am noticing, it's much easier to ID after the fact.
yeah, for sure. And I think it helps you retain information about that bird so you can recall it more later. Like if I was looking at blue-winged warbler and versus just taking a photo, if I was like, oh, I see those, white wing bars, like that's gonna stick with me and I can
Mhm.
recall that in the future. So yeah, shout out Dan. Not camera pilled like we are.
No, yeah. Shout out Dan, a
Yeah,
pure birder.
a pure birder. I like that story. I like that story a lot. Made me reflect um on my own tendencies. And you said black-throated green warbler? Or
Black-throated green warbler.
I don't think I've seen that one. That's really cool. All right. What's the smallest I've given so far? Eurasian widgeon.
Smallest was a Eurasian widgeon.
All right, how many more do you got left?
I have six, but we can cut some if we
Six
want.
more.
Yeah, if this is
No,
getting
okay.
too, there's a couple I can cut.
No, that's fine. I mean, we could just do it and cut them if we
Yeah,
need to. Anyway. Um, all right. I do want to go smaller than a Eurasian widgeon on this one, I will say. Um, I don't want to put myself in a pickle and f try to find like or not have a smaller duck type thing to mention. I'll go bufflehead on this one. How about that?
okay.
It,
I
it
like
it's a good
that.
story. I like that
It is
story.
a
I like
good
that story.
story. I think it's a pretty nice story.
Yeah.
All right. Um, I'll skip the next one. It's kind of a lot of the same stuff that we've already talked about, but I would like to now go to a bird that I saw when I lived in Boulder, Colorado, which was a couple years back. I used to go to this place in Boulder called Walden Ponds, which was a bunch of like man-made ponds where they like, pipe water in, and it essentially acted as sort of like a wildlife refuge-esque thing. It wasn't technically a national wildlife refuge, it was just like a park. But in Boulder, in Colorado, but like Boulder, there are almost no water sources, no naturally forming water sources because it's really dry there. There is a creek that goes through the town, but after all the snow melts off the mountains and it's like really hot, it doesn't rain ever. The creek actually dries basically all the way up. It's kind of scary. But there was this Walden Ponds, and so there were birds there, which was nice. Um, anyway, so I went there and I saw one of my favorite things that I ever saw there, a Clark's grebe, which grebes are pretty cool. They're kind of ducky, but they're like I don't know, they have skinny necks and all of the grebes can do some cool stuff. And a Clark's grebe especially, that's not something that I'm really going to be able to see over here on the East Coast. So I was really happy about that. I posted a picture of it on my Instagram and, that was that, right? That was probably 2020 or 2021 that I saw that. A couple months ago, I'm going through all my old pictures as you do if you're a washed up bird photographer like myself. And I realized that's not a Clark's grebe. It wasn't a Clark's grebe at all. It was actually something very similar to a Clark's grebe, a Western grebe, which is almost
Mm,
identical, but so a Clark's grebe and a Western grebe have a very defined line from where their feathers go from black to white. And on a Clark's grebe, it happens like above the eyebrow line. But on a
hmm.
Western grebe, it happens kind of like right at the eye line. So that's how I figured that out. I was able to update it in Merlin because I figured out how to do that. And all good. But I think this is noteworthy because it took me 5 years technically to ID a bird.
Yeah, I think that's cool. I forgot I could use grebes on this scale of yours.
Yeah,
Yeah, the only grebes I've seen I think are the pie build. And did we when we went to Statuist, did we saw a horned grebe there, right?
yeah, we did.
I think there was only two grebes. So Western grebe, very cool. Um, I don't think I'm gonna see those out here in Virginia Beach at
I
all,
don't think
but
so.
yeah. It was a nice story and all. Didn't get me too excited, but I'm happy for you. Happy that you revised your ID.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the American black duck. Kind of similar to
Okay.
the mallard.
Similar to a mallard.
I
I,
call them the dirty mallard.
yeah, I'll take that. I
Um,
think that's good.
yeah,
Uh, Saw a lot of those today, by the way, at Forsyth.
nice,
That was
nice.
good. Well, let's stay in Colorado, right? Um, when I moved to Boulder, I was 23. I was like a strapping young lad. I was in pretty good shape, if I do say so myself. I played frisbee all through college. I was an active guy. I had been working at this place in New Jersey, went to the gym every morning there because I was by myself in New Jersey and didn't know anybody and had no friends. So I just go to the gym at my work.
That's
But
what all the people at the gym, that's their entire scenario, right? No friends, so might as well just go to the
exactly.
gym.
And now I have so many friends. That's why obviously I don't go to the gym. But early on, we wanted to go on a nice mountain hike, right? We just moved to Colorado. We've done some hikes around just kind of there, but we wanted to go on a nice mountain hike. So, in order to get to this mountain hike, we needed to drive partway up a mountain to get to the trailhead. So, we took my 2012 Honda Fit, amazing car, very dinky engine. No idea how it made it up there, but it did. Amazing car. It got us through our entire time in Boulder. But we got up to the trailhead of Bald Mountain. I think there are like 80 bald mountains. Everyone just calls their mountain Bald Mountain, but this was a bald mountain. So
Hmm.
we're at Bald Mountain. Once we're there, we go about an eighth of a mile, and I'm like instantly out of breath, right? We're so high up as it is in Boulder, mile high. Denver's the mile high city. Boulder's a little higher than that. And then we're also halfway up this mountain. So that was like our first real experience with exercising in altitude. It was really tough. But we get up to the top of this mountain. It's a short little hike. And we get up, we're like sputtering, we're like, stumbling, finally get up to the top. And we're rewarded with no view whatsoever because there were so many wildfires. Like, it was just ash as far as you could see. Very
Hmm.
scary for, you know, someone coming from the East Coast where there's no ash in the sky most of the time. But we are also greeted with a bunch of tiny little mountain bluebirds, which I thought was very nice. Bluebirds often a sign of like joy, happiness to come, because they're like a spring associated bird. We were up there, and it was a nice introduction for me to the western half of the United States because I had spent all my life on the eastern half. You're not going to see mountain bluebirds over there. So I thought that was pretty nice. Also, on the hike and a lot of the other hikes I did there, I got tendonitis in both of my knees. Had to go to physical therapy for a while, so I literally sacrificed my body to get this ID.
Wow. Mountain bluebird, very cool. Do they look similar to eastern bluebirds, like same color scheme?
Almost exactly the same, but like pretty much no red, almost just all blue.
Nice, nice. I'm gonna be a little bit biased here. One of my favorite photos that I've taken is of an eastern bluebird, and kind of similar to mountain bluebird. Um, I I'm a fan of the Honda Fit. I've been in it. And you're right. It's done a good job for you throughout its life, I would
Oh
say.
yeah.
Yeah. So also a fan of that. Um, hmm. Let's see here. I might go. Oh, I just had one and then I lost it. Are red-throated loons kind of small? They're
I
smaller
don't
than a
know.
common loon for sure.
Okay. I feel like common loon. is like slightly bigger than a mallard, maybe same-ish size as a mallard.
Yeah, and I think red-throated loons are a bit smaller.
Okay,
At least that's my intention. So I'm gonna go with the red-throated loon.
great. I'll take a red-throated loon. Appreciate it. All right. Well, so this next one has been a long time coming. Oh,
I already know what you're gonna say. I'm a
it
little bit
happened.
jealous.
What happened at the time, I didn't really expect it to happen. But over the summer, Rochelle and I went to Connecticut a lot. And one of the times we went there, my parents lived there. That's why we went there all the time. One of the times, my parents took us on a little like boat tour of the Connecticut River, specifically to see tree swallow migration. It was really cool. So tree swallow migration was like in effect, and there were so many, like tens of thousands of tree swallows around. And at sunset, what happens is all of the tree swallows that are out, circling, trying to find bugs to eat any sort of food, they'll all kind of descend at the same time into their nests, like above the trees. And so you see these huge murmurations. It was amazing. It was like magical. But we also saw at the same time peregrine falcons, two peregrine falcons. And we actually saw them underneath a bridge. The boat went under a bridge, and underneath the bridge, there's like a catwalk up towards the top. And there were just two peregrine falcons sitting there. I got some bad pictures of them, but I mean, it was really cool. I've been trying to see this bird forever, and finally saw it. So it's a good reminder to everyone, if you're ever under a bridge, make sure you check for peregrine falcons.
Yeah, definitely happy for you, not bitter at all. But no, yeah, seeing the peregrine falcon very cool. We've been trying to see one for the longest. We would check some checklists before we went out to John Hines. Everyone's seeing peregrine falcons like, oh, I saw one yesterday, I saw one a week ago, whatever, and then we've just never seen one at John
Yep,
Hines.
never.
Um, I'm sure it'll happen for me one day. One of these days I'll see a peregrine falcon,
It
but
will. Check
yeah,
bridges.
I'll try to go under some bridges. I'll check them.
Yeah, cool.
Peregrine falcon, very very cool bird. Fastest dive bomb speed of any, or fastest like speed of any animal ever, right?
Hmm.
I think over 200 miles an hour
Over
in
200. Yep,
in free fall.
yep.
Very cool bird. All right. Coot to mute swan.
That's the scale, the duck scale.
That's the scale. I mean, hey, listen, I'm happy for you, but like a crow, I'm gonna hold a grudge a little bit. So
That's fair.
I'm gonna throw you a double crested cormorant on this one.
Ooh, wow. Okay. That's a little harsher than I was expecting, but I
It's a little
accept it.
harsh, I know, but
I accept
yeah,
it. All right.
cool, cool.
Well, moving on, we got two more. Two more.
Two
And it's
more.
actually birds number 199 and bird number 200 on my life list. So, 199. When I tell you that the vibes for this one were immaculate, I mean immaculate, right? So, for context, a couple of months ago, Rochelle was in Martha's Vineyard on a work trip. And after the work trip, she wanted to hang around for a little bit longer because you have to like take a ferry to get to Martha's Vineyard and then you have to take a ferry back. You have to get your tickets really far in advance. And she could only get a ticket for like 3 days after she was done working. And Martha's Vineyard is really expensive. So she wanted to camp. So we went camping in Martha's Vineyard. And I joined after her work was done. So like partway through. But to get there, I had to go on a ferry. And I'm already a little stressed about camping. I'm not the best camper. I don't sleep very well in general. So, like, the prospect of camping kind of stresses me out because I don't sleep at all. But I'm a little stressed about that. I'm a little stressed about going on a boat. I'm not really a big boat guy. I don't ride on boats very often. But we get on, it's a triple decker ferry. And they say you can go whichever deck you want to go to. So I go to the third deck. So I'm like, why not? There's probably birds around here. No one else comes up to the third deck. I'm the only one there. And we start going, and I'm like, I understand why people enjoy boats. It was great. Winds like whipping in my face. They're blasting Hotel California on the boat radio, and birds are all around. And it's really cool because it's like a lot of these birds that are, soaring around while you're at the beach, gulls, terns, stuff like that. But they're at eye level with me because I'm up on the third level of this boat. and they're going like about the same speed as the boat, so they're just like hanging
Hmm.
out here. It's super cool to see. And alongside all these other gulls and stuff, I see a bird that I think initially is a gull, but then its wings are like a little different shaped, like a little broader, maybe a little bigger, and it's like got this interesting coloring that I haven't seen on a gull before. And I was able to idea a little later it was a great shearwater, which I think is really cool.
Great shearwater.
Yeah, a lot of people who are listening maybe have never even heard of this bird, and that's because it's a bird that you can basically only see if you're like out in open water. It's one of those birds that's kind of like an albatross, you know. It's constantly flying around over the water. So if you're on land, there's almost like no chance you're going to see it. And I just happened to see it on this amazing boat ride.
No, hey, that's awesome. Yeah, I know a lot of birders like take like pelagic or pelagic, I think is the correct pronunciation, trips where yeah, you're out on a boat in the open water and you just get to see so many different types of birds. Like I don't know if I'm saying this bird right either because I haven't seen one yet, but Jaegers, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, there are just birds that are just like Sam said, you can only see like out at sea, which is really cool. So no, that's a really cool story. Um, huh. I kind of want to do one of those pelagic trips. I think that would be really fun.
yeah.
I I hadn't been so I was in Cancun like a year ago or so, or like a year and a half ago. And I guess I hadn't been on a boat in like a super long time before that. I was like never seasick, but then I got to Cancun, I was on a boat and I got really seasick. So maybe I'll need to take some Dramamine or whatever if I go on a pelagic tour. Anyway,
Mhm.
I like that story. That's a lifer that like is not even like on my radar of something that I would see. So I think that's really cool. Um, I don't know if this necessarily fits into the duck-like spectrum we got here. But I'm gonna say it anyway. Black crown night heron.
Ooh, okay.
I feel like
So
those guys are like somewhat small.
there's definitely small for herons, right? Compared to a
Yeah.
great blue, I guess. Um, okay, I'll take. But would you say that's smaller or larger than a mallard?
Now that I'm thinking about it, it's probably larger than a mallard. I'm thinking of that one that we saw just chilling off the boardwalk in John Hines.
Hmm.
But my intention was if for it to be small. Or
So a juvenile black crowned night heron, maybe.
yes, a juvenile black crowned night heron. How
Nice.
about
I'll
that?
take that. Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. Final bird on our list is number 200 itself. Want to try
Wow,
and
number
guess what it
200.
is?
Um, Give me a hint. Where did you see it?
I saw it shortly after 199, this time on land in Martha's Vineyard, but I'll say it's on the shore. And it's one that you saw, I believe, for the first time very recently.
Oh, well, that probably clears it up. A sanderling.
Sanderling, yep, saw a Sanderling, which people had seen at Heinz. I never saw one at Heinz. And honestly, the only notable part of this was that it was number 200. It was just like on a beach, that was the story. But before you lock in your rating, I found something out weeks later, which is that my life list on Merlin did not include the Mandarin duck, which I did see I should have included it. And it's because the Mandarin duck wasn't in any of the packs that I had, so I forgot
Right,
to add it.
right.
So if you factor in the Mandarin duck, number 200 is actually the Great Shearwater, which I think is a cooler ID. So I'm counting that as this.
Well, I wish you would have told me that before I rated the Greater Shearwater. I would have gave us some brownie points for being number 200.
You can re-rate it
Um,
now.
Actually re-rate it now. All right, well, let me do the Sanderling first. Sanderling, very cute guy, like super small, just
Mhm.
little waddling on the beach. I saw one at Back Bay National Wildlife Refuge just like a week ago. Got some pretty cool pics. And I haven't edited those yet, but I'm happy with just like the raw images right now. I got wet because I purposely went during low tide, um, and I guess I just underestimated how much the tide was coming back in, and I got a little wet. But I got some good pics, so I'm happy with it.
They're great picks.
Um,
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. I felt bad because I saw one hopping on one leg, and I thought it was injured, and I was like, oh, I don't want to take a picture of this one because it's like injured, right? So I didn't, even though it was like really close to me and like a good angle and everything. And I looked it up later. They just do that to conserve body heat. And I found out that like other shorebirds do that as well, like other sandpipers, other herons. Like I'm sure you've seen a heron just standing with one leg. Um, think I've also seen cormorants do it as well.
Yeah, I wondered about
Um,
flamingos famously do that also.
oh yeah, that's a good point. Didn't even
Yeah.
occur to me. Flamingos definitely do that. Um, so yeah, Sanderling. Okay, so I'm gonna revise now that the Great Shearwater is your number 200. I'm gonna
Mm,
revise that a little bit.
cool.
Let me rate the Sanderling first. I'm gonna call the Sanderling a I'm gonna rate it a Harlequin duck.
Okay.
So we saw that at Sashuis. I think it looks pretty cool, and
Oh yeah.
they were definitely
Smaller than a
smaller
mallard.
than mallard. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
small guys. So um,
Bigger than a bufflehead.
bigger than a bufflehead, smaller than a mallard for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then throwback to maybe episode 4, maybe of season 1. The Great Shearwater is going to be the inaccessible island rail.
Ooh, nice.
And
Love
for
the
for those of you
inaccessible
that
island rail.
And for those of you that are saying, "Oh, that shouldn't belong on that rating spectrum," the coot is also a rail, so I think it counts
Yeah. Anything counts as a duck if you try hard enough.
if you try hard enough. It's kind of like how everything evolves into a crab eventually.
Yeah.
Everything counts as a duck
I mean,
if you try hard enough.
it's good. So yeah, those were the stories I wanted to tell. Just to have a list of honorable mentions. I didn't want to not mention these ones, but there's just nothing interesting to go along with it, or I've already told the story. Mandarin duck, painted bunting, barred owl, roseate spoonbill, uh, all the alcids, which is a family. So Atlantic puffin, black
Hmm.
guillemot, razorbill, common murre. Saw all of those this summer. Pileated woodpecker, purple gallinal, red crossbill, sandhill crane, American avocet, rose-breasted grosbeak, indigo bunting. Those are all the ones that I'm very happy that I've seen that like I had to, you know, take effort to see. So
Nice,
glad that
yeah,
those are on the life list.
that's a good list of birds. I was definitely there for some of them. I think I saw my lifer rose-breasted grosbeak in your backyard and
Yeah,
or your
that's
parents'
when I saw it.
backyard,
Yeah,
funnily enough. Oh, really? That was yeah, okay.
yeah.
Um, Cool. Well, I hope to hit 200 at some point. I think I'm around like 160 right now.
I
Um,
mean, being in a new place, I'm sure you'll fill it up like pretty quick.
yeah, yeah. I'm hoping to get out more than I've only been out once so far, so I'm definitely hoping to get out there more.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
All
that was the main
right.
topic. And we
Yeah,
can,
thanks for sharing. That was a lot of fun.
yeah. Let us know how you felt. I know this was probably longer than many episodes are. Comment Sam shut up if you want it to be shorter, or comment a thumbs up if you like the length.
All right. So I know everyone likes the closing calls, right? Everyone likes seeing us struggle with those bird calls, but since we're doing this remotely now, it's a little trickier to sh give each other bird sounds.
It's really hard. If you've
So
never used Zoom, it's like impossible to play like a sound or music and have Zoom pick it up. So it's not very easy.
yeah, so we're switching things up. We're gonna do, different types of games to end things off. But Sam, do you wanna go over what we're doing today?
Yeah, so this time I am the game master and Keisha's going to be participating in the game, right? And we'll probably switch off how that works. But this time what we're going to do, it's a bit of a visual game, but if you're listening, do not close out yet because I'm going to after the fact edit in some sounds so you can treat it as a closing cough for yourself. But what I've done is I've taken three birds. I've turned them into silhouettes so you can see the outline of the bird, but it's just completely black. No coloring, no facial features, nothing like that. And you're going to have to guess who it is. Very similar to a beloved game for many people. of my generation who happened to watch the TV show Pokemon. Who's that Pokemon? So, who's that bird? Let's look at the first one.
All right. Let's see. All right, you've sent me three. Which one's the first one? Like the
The
first one you
first
sent
one I
me?
sent. Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay. All right. Um, hmm. So the crest really just sticks out to me right from the get-go. So I'm thinking it's some sort of J. Hard for me to tell whether it's a Blue Jay or maybe a Stellar's Jay. I think the Stellar's Jay might have like a little more prominent peak there. It screamed Blue Jay to me to start. I'm just gonna say Blue Jay.
Blue Jay is correct. Yeah, good job. Thought it was a nice warm-up
Let's
one.
go.
Thought it was a little tricky because, you see a bird with a crest, you can think blue jay or cardinal or cedar waxwing, but there's some like differences in that silhouette you can really latch on to.
Yeah, I'm trying to verbalize my like because like Cardinal did cross my mind, but I swiftly threw that away. I think it's the beak. The
Mhm.
Blue Jay has like a little more skinny or like protruding beak versus the Cardinal has is a little more
Cardinal has that
rounded,
giant like sparrow-like
chunky one.
beak kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. That's what I was
Cool.
hoping you'd notice. So glad. Good job on that first one. Let's move on to number two.
Number two. All right. So for our audio listeners, this may be tough, but for our YouTube audience, you can see there's something funky going on with this beak here. It's almost like it's crossing over itself. So I think this is going to be the red crossbill.
It is the red crossbill. I thought, this is going to be difficult if I just give you like a sparrow. Like, how are you possibly going to figure out what kind it was? But
Yeah.
you take a sparrow, cross the bill a little bit, you got yourself a red crossbill. So glad you
Yeah,
noticed that.
I haven't seen a red crossbill. The only reason I know about this bird primarily is because of Wingspan, which, we still haven't played that game with the fans that we've mentioned. Maybe we will in the future.
We'll figure it. Now that
Um,
we've figured out the video aspect, we can
yeah,
start working towards that.
stream on Twitch get huge for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly.
Um,
Cool.
yeah, cool. Red crossbill.
Red crossbill. I saw that for the first time in Maine, up at the very top of a tree. It was very cool. I didn't expect it, but I was glad to see it. All right, moving on to our final one, number three.
All right, so this one, number three, first glance, it could have been anything. Like it was looking heron, like some sort of shorebird, like a stocky, like a bird that's stalking or like some sort of shorebird. I was thinking crane, but no, its neck's too short. I was thinking heron, but no, its bill's not right for a heron. It's not like straight. It's kind of like it's slightly drooped. It seems too big for a sandpiper. I was like, what is this? And then I remembered we talked about the clapper rail. Hopefully I'm not getting a little too ahead of myself here, but I'm somewhat confident that this is the clapper rail.
This is the clapper rail. I thought maybe you'd think it was like a night heron or like a bittern or
Yeah, yeah.
something, but that's the clapper rail. If you had asked me this before today when I saw one, I would not have guessed it. I would have no idea what one looked like, honestly. But
I was refreshed a little bit because I saw a photo of it at Back Bay National Wildlife Refuge a week
nice.
ago. But if yeah, it probably would not have been on my radar at all if I didn't see that.
All right. Well, hey, very good. So much quicker than it takes us to do the closing caw. Just a little peek behind the curtain. Sometimes we do a closing caw for like an hour because we couldn't figure out what bird it was.
Ugh,
And this no cuts, only a couple minutes. So great
one
job. Hopefully that
take.
was fun. I hope for all of you at home that was also fun. And for those listening, no visuals, hopefully you were able to do something with the closing caw. I picked a couple birds, blue jay and clapper rail, that have pretty distinctive calls. I don't know what a red crossbill call sounds like. Hopefully it's distinctive.
Yeah, yeah. The Clapperell definitely does have a distinct call from what we were hearing at where were we hearing that? Forsyth?
Foresight.
Yeah, yeah. Nice,
Yep.
nice. All right. Well, yeah, like Sam said, hopefully let us know if you'd like the guess the bird, guess the Pokemon. And we'll switch up the games as well to keep it fresh and interesting. Um, but yeah, let us know how you liked seeing our faces, how you liked the, st slightly more conversational aspect of the episode.
Big
And
changes. Big changes.
it's good to be back. I know we took a long break in the middle there, but
Yeah.
we are back.
So we are back. We're figuring it out as you're figuring it out. So, give us a little grace, but also hype us up. Send us to a friend. It's easier now if you want to do it through YouTube because it's on YouTube. Everyone loves to share YouTube videos. And yeah, just share us, comment. Please send us hoot topics. We'd love to hear from everyone. And I don't know, rate us 5 stars. Is that a thing they can do?
That is a thing they can do. And I think we still have a solid 5-star rating on Spotify, which is cool. There's this, I think there's one fool that gave us a 1 star on Apple Music or Apple
Yeah.
Podcasts, but we don't talk about that.
No, very foolish, but what are you gonna do? We don't define ourselves by numbers except for that number. So if
Hey,
it's
hey,
less than a
listen,
five, yeah,
the most successful people have haters, right? We have one hater so far, and I take that as a sign that we've made it, honestly.
that's true. I agree. Someone out there thinks that birds aren't real. They're sadly mistaken. And you know what? We're truth tellers. We're gonna get backlash.
Exactly. You speak the truth, you're gonna get some talk back, and it was tough at first, but I think we've hardened ourselves and we've come to expect it. So
Yeah,
we're good.
absolutely. So please comment. No comments at all about our appearance. I can't handle that. If someone if someone says single thing about how I look, I'm gonna lose my mind. So uh,
Yeah, we're gonna turn the cameras off permanently at
yeah.
any slight. No.
But if you have any thoughts about how to move forward, we'd love to hear them. But this is kind of the general plan. So hopefully you enjoy it, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.